First round going to be best of 3 action. Phenyx Esports versus Newcastle Lions. Let's get down to it again. Best of 3 in our first round of the day. Then we'll be into best of 5 action from there. Nice transition from one side of the field from the other from Rashiram. I do believe I've got these backwards. Let me flip those real quick, chat. Bang. And let's get down to it, chat. Feels like game number 1 in these best of 3s that we have seen through the first couple of qualifiers is so important. You know, we often say in the best of 5s, you lose game 1, you can shift your focus to game 2, potentially send it off to the rubber match. We just haven't seen very much success with the team losing game 1, bouncing back with 2 straight. And what a best way to put your best foot forward within the first 50 seconds of play. It's a nice shot from Rashiram. Well, there you go. Phenyx Esports, first on the board. I just realized I still have player anthems on, don't I? Rookie mistake, chat. Rashiram fires a nice second shot forward. Phenyx Esports has got all sorts of control here early. I know we had already seen a Lion fan here. Of course, if you are Newcastle, you still have plenty of time. I mean, the good news when you do allow those early goals is there is still plenty of time to respond. But something tells me with the rate that Phenyx Esports playing here, the pace they're playing, the one isn't going to be where they stop. One thing they have been doing good with as well is making sure to limit the opportunities from this Newcastle Lions offense. Really limiting the looks down on that orange side of the field and doing a great job of being able to meet with that resistance, usually around the midfield line. Not going to be this case. This is ETH. F. Bring this ball up the field. Unfortunately, isn't able to maintain the possession. Looks to regather around the midfield line. Has the ceiling for the reset. Fortunately, though, for Newcastle, still looking for favorable opportunities as far as shots. They've been able to fire 2 onto target, but nothing that's really been too threatening, right? I mean, even that one from George sure might have been looking towards that outside. And by the way, chat, I don't know about y'all, loving the crossbar sound on my side. Especially because you can tell just how close they were based on the dink. Big fan. We are halfway through game number 1 here. Still looking for a first goal is Newcastle, but it feels like they've got to be about due. That's a 5th shot on target there. Ethan does not appreciate the crossbar sound. I love it. Tanker Plays has some space to move this thing up the field. Rashiram not going to be able to get a good touch to prevent this push forward. Agreed, Pyro. I'm not going to lie. At first, I was feeling a little underwhelmed. I was hoping it was going to be more like that traditional crossbar sound. But the more I hear it, the more I dig it. Maybe it's easy for me to say as a caster, admittedly, but even in my own games, I don't mind it so much. You close in on 80 seconds left in game number 1. Still just the 1 goal here thus far. Phenyx Esports, they have been limited on their opportunities here for quite a while. Of course, as I say that, it's Rashiram going coast to coast with it. Oh no, not the clank off of the crossbar. Definitely would have liked to be able to add to your tally, get yourself that security blanket, especially as we are getting ready to enter into that final 50 seconds of play. It's Rashiram in their back corner, looking to get it past George, but can't. Tanker Plays, that's off the post as well. Ethan tries to follow it up, does get shut down early, but George will be able to keep the pressure forward. So the roller off the ceiling, it's in a dangerous spot. Did he disappear for anybody else? Oh, he just came out of nowhere. Okay. I didn't see him coming from right to the left out of the screen. Like, where did he come from? Defense probably feeling similarly. Big goal within that final. "30 seconds to be able to tie things up. And I mentioned earlier how Phenyx Esports, their offense, has truly been slowed down here after that early goal. Naturally, though, Caster's curse. Off to the other side of the pitch we go, and Phenyx Esports will be able to add to their tally. It's the flow. Pass on over to black and white. And it's too easy. Talked about it. This is a best of 3 in round number 1. We have not seen very many teams be able to win back-to-back games after dropping game number 1. We've definitely seen sweeps where teams take games number 1 and 2. Maybe one more for the road here from Rashiram. Bang! There it is. And what will look like a game that maybe wasn't as close as it truly was, especially after a last-second goal here from Rashiram to add to the tally. The big thing that the Newcastle Lions are going to have to focus on is finding a way to maintain the possessions, small deficits in that for both as far as ball control, as far as field control in game number 1. I feel like you're maybe able to get the ball moving a little bit better, maybe get your passing game up, maybe be able to find those openings needed to be able to find a little bit more success on the offensive side. Does look like we're going to be seeing a sub here in this next game for Phenyx Esports. But game number 1 feels like, despite the loss, I would say as far as for the Lions, you feel decent with the amount of pressure you were able to accrue on the offensive side. I mean, 8 shots, technically out shooting Phenyx Esports. I always talk about being a numbers guy. I feel like you outshoot the opposition more often than not. You should be able to find a little bit more success. Unfortunately, though, it is a shorter series, so it's now or never, as we do have that sub getting on into the server, getting ready for game number 2. Let's see if we can get this thing sent off to one more game. Good news for the Newcastle Lions. We're rolling those scores back to 0. There's 5 minutes on the clock. Start back on that even footing. See if maybe there's a way for you to put yourself into the driver's seat early. It will be early pressure forward here from Phenyx Esports. Shot on target. And it's not even 9 seconds into game number 2. And Phenyx Esports back in the lead. All gas, no brake. Of course, do keep in mind that lower bracket is still available for Newcastle if you do drop this second game. That does put your back up against the wall early in this final qualifier for the UniRocketeers Spring 2025. I believe it's ETH, short for Ethan, who was able to keep that ball moving alive. Does force themselves up a little bit. Should be able to win this 50 to at least slow things down. It's still a ball towards the middle. Let's get sent back to that Phenyx Esports half of the field. The flow. We'll be able to move it up towards the midfield line. How much gas in the tank? That acts as a centering pass, though. Zylao going to be able to punish. A pair of unfortunate touches just settles that thing right up in front of the net. And when the biscuit's in front of the baskets, it's going to be good eats almost each and every time. Here's ETH, though. Early possession, pass to the middle. Oh, Tanker plays, had net for days. Unfortunately, though, not going to be able to capitalize. One you will surely want back. Completely forgot to hit ads before we started, so we'll snooze those until after this game. That's my bad, chat. He talks about comeback incoming in chat. Would love to see it here for the Newcastle Lions, but Unfortunately, they just have not had very much success putting the ball into the back of the net. This time around, they are doing better as far as the ball possession and the field control, something we talked about wanting to see them improve from game number 1. And even with that, still down by 2 with about 2 minutes gone by. George looks towards the middle of the field, despite the save, dunks it in on the second effort, and just like that, the Newcastle Lions have been able to take this lead and cut it in half. Sheesh. We got us a ball game, folks. It is going to be important, however, for the Newcastle Lions. You cannot surrender a quick response and allow for Phenyx Esports to put themselves back into a 2-goal lead. It's okay if you wait a little while till you find the back of the net again, but you need to maintain this 1-goal deficit. Shot towards the target, Tinker plays. Able to avoid the contact from Zalao, is going to be able to find the save. Can't find a way out of the zone, though. But luckily, with the help of ETH, we'll be able to send it down. George, Kablamo. Will mean it's just 2 players moving forward for Phenyx Esports. The flow not going to be able to get control. It's going to be George who's going to look for the clear here for Newcastle Lions. ETH already up in the sky, but Zalao wins the 50, sends it back towards the midfield line. Down to the middle of the field. That's not quite going to find its mark. But it is still pressure forward for the Newcastle Lions as they launch another shot onto target. Possession still maintained down here. But you still got to find a way to continue accruing up shots. 3 ain't going to cut it. Oh, nice play from ETH. That's on your head, boy. Y'all already know the rules. Hand down, man down. You gotta find a way to rise up and put some sort of pressure on him. ETH ties it up with 1:45 left to play. Now this next goal becomes so huge. We mentioned we haven't seen very many teams be able to win back-to-back games after dropping game number 1. And now that is going to be 3 unanswered goals. This time from George, finding the angle, the flow, not quite able to get there for the save. And we could very well be off to game number 3. Do still have to hold the line here for about 92 seconds. It feels like the aura in the pitch has changed just a little bit. The Newcastle Lions seem to have found their swag. Remember, winner of this series does take on that number 2 seed heading into things for qualifier number 4. University of Warwick lies in wait. George keeps the pressure forward, and it's going to be a centering pass. George is already up. That touch would have found the mark had it not been saved. Unfortunately, not very much oomph on it, but it's still pressure, still more time ticking away. ETH almost finds it, the save. Touch, oh so necessary. George still keeping the ball forward, and bang! Feels like that has to be the nail in the coffin. Because with 34 seconds left, we see the Newcastle Lions able to go up by 2. Now, I had mentioned how it felt like the big thing for them was maintaining the possession, being able to find a way to keep the pressure down on this orange side and run it up, run it up, run it up. They're up to 5. And that momentum seems to be firmly on the side of the boys in blue. At this point, you just try and keep the possession down here on this orange half for these final 20 seconds. How often we talk about for teams in these sort of situations where all you do is try and find yourself something to build on. Big clear down the opposite way, balls in the sky. ETH should be able to win the 50 on that. Keeps the pressure forward. George not going to be able to get there on that one. However, Tinker plays in the middle of the field, passes it up off the backboard. George with the fake, and when the ball touches the ground, we are indeed off to game number 3. Wow. What a game. Talking about a real change of pace as well, to be able to limit as Phenyx Esports squad down to just 4 shots in game number 2. It's a big difference from what we had saw in game number 1, and obviously it's hard to put on shots when you are stuck back in your half, which is something that we talked about as far as for the side of Newcastle Lions, needing to find a way to be able to seize that control. But now it's off to game number 3. One time for the one time. The next 5 minutes is all that matters for one of these two teams to secure themselves a spot in winners round 2. Nice early shot attempt here from Meath. Attempts like that let you know that they seem to be feeling themselves. Tanker plays, leaves it off for Eth, who's in the middle of the field. Eth does commit over towards the big boost, which, while maybe not finding a shot, does take resources out of the hands of the opposition. That shot will be high thanks to the save from George. Now it's going to be up to Tanker plays to try and find a way out of their half. We'll get the assistance from George to continue to get that second touch here as well. No early goals this time around. Something tells me this could be one of those games where we literally only see a goal, maybe 2 or 3. We got a first goal for Newcastle Lions. Continuing to run it up. And what a play. And my bad on the ads. I thought I snoozed them that time around. We will definitely make sure we're running them in between series so they don't interrupt our gameplay from here on out, y'all. That is my fault. George, opportunity. Is that a second one? Not much oomph on it. But again, still possession down here on this side for the Newcastle Lions. For the first 90 seconds of play, we spent about 3/4 of the time down here on this orange half. Tanker plays. We'll continue advancing this ball forward. George has some space. That's going to be wide. Eth, that's a slow dribbler. Flo will be able to find the save. Welcome on back, y'all. Again, that's my fault on the ads. Missed just the one, though. Tinker plays up in the middle of the field, looking for Eth, who was in the middle. Was trying to find a way to drop it down onto the hood. Unfortunately, unable to do so. But when you look at the control of this game thus far, I mean, ball possession almost 2/3 in control of this Newcastle Lions squad. Still at the point where we spent 3/4 of our time down this orange side. I thought George was going to be able to get there in time, but couldn't. Eth sends a pass and was looking towards the middle, but will get cleared back to the midfield line. We're halfway through game number 3. Still just a 1-goal game for now. Of course, the good news for Phenyx Esports is they have shown the ability to quickly transition the field. And while maybe their counterattack hasn't quite yet yielded in any big goals, it's felt like they've had a couple of chances. And well, one shot is all it takes to tie things up at this point in the game. Tanker plays, going to be able to find the save here. Dialau keeps it alive, pops it on up in the sky. With the assistance of the flow, it's still pressure forward here for Phenyx Esports. Unfortunately, though, nothing really towards the net. The Newcastle Lions defense has been doing a great job of sending everything out towards that side wall. And we're now left to 100 seconds of play left in game number 3. And right now, struggling to find any semblance of sort of pressure onto the net while you've been able to spend some time down here. Oh, I was going to say only found 2 shots. That third one, a huge one. Even bigger save, however. The flow steps into the lane, able to keep the pressure down here on this side. Tinker plays, looks for the clear. Black and white, going to be right there to pop it up. The flow, the give, the go. Baby, can you make a play towards the net? Unfortunately, the answer's no. Still 50 seconds left on the clock. You have time, but that time is starting to run thin. Especially with every touch from this squad in blue. That sends it down on the orange half. It's 5-7 seconds. That dwindles off. Feel like you cannot really afford, but maybe one more empty trip down to the side. All the eggs in one basket, so to speak. It's going to be a bump. Open field for ETH to send it back down on this orange territory. Have an opportunity. Oh, did you let that ball get a little too far away from your hood? Looks like that's the case. George takes it the other way. Big 50 on that second one there. 2 seconds left. And once this ball touches the ground, we had talked about how we hadn't seen it much, but we get to see it here today. The team that drops game number 1. Able to pull things back in back-to-back dubs. The Newcastle Lions will be advancing into that winners round number 2. Oh, rickety right. Let's get down to it. Round number 2 action, chat. Again, that means we're off to best of 5s. So let's do what it do. L team versus Too Manny Man. Let me make sure I do have rosters on the right side here. I do believe I've got those backwards. It looks like Too Manny Man should be over on the blue side. We'll get that swapped on over, chat. And let's get to it. First 30 seconds on in. No early goals as of yet. Too Manny Men sweeping LA Esports in order to get here. L team 2-1 versus the BU Barracudas. A series that you feel like looking at rankings-wise, they should have been able to walk away with the dub. Did get challenged a little bit. It's early pressure on in from RCN, who will get credit for the shot. Technically, an own goal off of the defender, as it was Jakey who was trying to scream on back and put themselves in position. Well, team gonna strike first. Another shot moving in. This time around is from Too Manny Men from Jakey, RCN. We had that first goal, finds a save there as well. To try and track this ball down. Magic puts it over their head. Able to get past the second defender as well. To pass to the other side of the field, it's Jakey who takes the possession. Shot on target. Heavy Elton. Able to find the save. Still pressure forward temporarily for Too Manny Men. Big kablooey from Sound. Magic has to make the adjustment to get on back and does send it towards the corner with the assistance of Ethan. Able to shut down that pressure forward. Jakey looks to launch a shot, far corner. Heavy Elton still going to be there for the save. So much pressure early on. Hold on. Quick transition to the field, though, and it's Sound. Ew. Heavy Elton with a clear. Sound already upfield. Or Magic can even stop to take a look at it. Shoots a shot on target. It's 2-0 here for the L team. Of course, plenty of time to respond. You do still have a whole half to play if you're Too Manny Man. But you feel like you've got to be finding that first one here relatively soon. I mean, you've had more of the pressure. Technically, only 2 shots have been recorded from L team. They've just both found the lace. And now it's going to be a 3rd shot. And also finds its way to hit the back of the net. As much as Too Manny Man doing a great job of controlling both the field and somewhat of the ball, for L team it's been consistency and efficiency that have really led the way through the first 3 minutes of play. Opportunity here. Jakey's going to fire a shot on target, but RCN will find the save. RCN already got that savior medal as well. They've got 8 saves with 4 goals off of 4 shots. So, I mean, the defense is getting put to work by L team. I mean, Too Manny Men's every shot has required a save. The only problem is every shot has been saved. Meanwhile, you look on the opposite side of the field, L team has only been able to produce half the shots, 4 of them things, but all 4 of them have found the back of the net. Luckily, though, for Too Manny Man, Jakey will be able to find a first. We'll have to stay on board to see if that could be the catalyst to jumpstart the offense. You still have 90 seconds. I mean, 3 goals in 90 seconds definitely feels doable. Oh, hold on. That's a ball that floats all the way across the goal line. No one's there to punch it home. Now is everyone caught too far forward? Jakey will at least be able to rise up and shut down the first attempt, but the ball's still in the middle of the field. Ethan will send it over towards the corner. A second touch sends it up the field. Maybe a 3rd touch to help advance it. No, loses the control. It's Heavy Elton who looks to go the opposite way. Back pass from RCN looking for sound. The L team will at least keep the pressure forward in this blue half for now. The RCN, quick transition play, looking for a shot that I think would have gone high, but was trying to set up for the rebound. Unfortunately, ends up not coming off the way that they were expecting. Jakey tries to slide that thing up underneath. It's off the post as well. Ethan finds the bump. The ball's in front of the net. Magic shot hits the post. That goalpost has got to have all sorts of dents in it, and we're only in game number 1. That's got to be rather frustrating for Too Manny Man. The good news, though, unlike that first series that we saw on stream, well, this is a best of 5. Drop game 1, you can look to game number 2, shift your focus, and still be able to send things off to the rubber match. The only problem, however, is, well, L team seems to have things figured out on both sides of the ball. Again, they were able to stop just about every shot that got sent their way. 10 saves, 13 shots recorded by Too Manny Man. Meanwhile, when you talk about the offense for L team, only needed 7 shots to find the back of the net 4 times. We're going to have to find a way to turn things around quick, fast, and in a hurry. It looks like no one wants to wait before game number 2. There's no time for talking. There's no time for strategy. Let's just get back out to the pitch, reset those scores back up to 0, and run it back with 5 minutes on the clock. Feel like it's going to be important for Too Manny Man to find some early pressure. It feels like for you, you would really like to find that early goal. However, they are caught in their back half. Here for the first 30 seconds or so. Haven't been able to find a clear. Maybe Magic finds it there. Does have the assistance of Jakey up that side wall. Kablamo on the back line. Nobody there. That's going to allow Ethan to have the assist right on over to Jakey. Ethan shot, or not Jakey, over to Magic. I'm sorry. I can't read the screen that's right in front of me, chat. We talked about the importance of being on the scoreboard first, especially despite the fact that it was early pressure from L team. And well, now all of a sudden you're going to be up by 2 as it's Jakey this time around. We'll be able to find the lace. Thought that was just going to roll right on in. That would have been tough. Chat, I just realized I lied to y'all. I didn't run ads at all in between games, did I? We're going to run a minute and a half one at the end of this game if it gets out of hand or as we get to the break. That way we don't get hit with ads with the rest of this series. That's my fault. I told y'all I was going to do it, and I failed. First timer. Is still that 2-goal lead for now for Too Manny Man, but it is going to be L team on the approach, looking for an opportunity. Is that going to be in? No, it sails wide, and will get sent over to the corner. Ethan's going to be there, though, looking for a pass to the middle where Jakey was sitting in the shadows. Does find a shot, but Sound shuts it down. That one, however, from Magic will find the lace, and that's 3 for Too Manny Man, and we're not even at that 2-minute mark. There's going to be a very quick response off of the kickoff, though, just while I'm trying to grab a little bit of a drink over here. Didn't think it would happen that quick. Sound with a beautiful pass, though. Got to give it to him. Off to Heavy Elton. Two minutes gone by in this game, and we've definitely seen a shift from what we saw in game number 1, where it was a decent amount of pressure from Too Manny Man that wasn't finding the results. This time around, most definitely seems to be the case. And if I had to guess, probably not too much of a surprise for Too Manny Man, because as we had talked about at one point, every shot that they had put up had required a save, so their shots were being efficient despite the fact that they weren't necessarily finding results. There is still a whole half to play here for L team to turn things back around. We've been able to find 3 shots thus far, one of which has been able to find the back of the net. You figure if you find a way to cut this lead to 1 where there's about 1 minute of play left, you feel pretty solid. Because while Too Manny Man has had control of the possession and field game, it's not been by a dominant margin by any stretch of the means, and definitely hasn't looked unbreakable. You have to find a way to up the pressure a little bit and force those mistakes, because I don't think you're at a point with 95 seconds left on the clock where you can just simply wait for the mistakes. You have to force them out of this Too Manny Man squad. Right now, we've had, the ball back in orange half, but every time they go down to this blue side, wait up, hold a minute, that's off the top, and it's going to be Heavy Elton, who I was just going to say, that they haven't been able to find much success when they get down on this blue half here. Very limited opportunities. But I had mentioned trying to find a way to cut this lead down to 1 with about 1 minute left to go. They were able to do just that. It's 56 seconds left on the clock. And they're also now going to be stuck back on the defensive side off of kickoff. That's a dangerous touch. Magic. Creating a little bit of magic. Unfortunate swing and miss from RCN. And then Jakey with the bump on the back end. On to Heavy Elton. Everyone getting involved. "30 seconds is still doable for L Team, especially if you're able to find one in this visit." That's a bounce towards the middle, but that's not going to quite find its mark. And with a third goal there, it does indeed feel like we are going to be off to that rubber match in game number 3. And while L Team may have been able to find a way to shut down the plethora of shots that have been sent their way in game number 1, they were not able to slow down this Too Manny Man offense in that same capacity here in game 2. Matter of fact, it's been less shots on target from Too Manny Man. I think they're at 13, if my notes are correct, from game number 1, only at 11 here in game 2. But despite all that, it's 6-2. Too Manny Man walk away victorious. And like I said, that will send us off to that rubber match. All tied up at 1. Chat, I'm going to give y'all a heads up. I need to check one thing downstairs. So as soon as this game starts, I'm going to need about 20 seconds. Sprint down there. I might not be here for a second, but I'm going to watch this game, all right? Does look like we've got all of our players ready to rock and roll. I'm going to wait it out so we can allow our people who are watching that ad to make their way on back over here. Again, I do apologize about that. Blame Twitch, though. You know what I'm saying? Let's get down and do what it do. Game number 3. Let's go. If you like game 3 here, oh so important. You would like to be able to make sure you're in a position where you do get those 2 cracks at it when it comes to that match point. And it looks like as far as for L Team, they're going to be the ones who put themselves into the lead first. Let's get that bot up on out of here, chat. Hold on, off the kickoff. Can they find themselves a second? No, not quite there. RCN will be able to respawn back to the defensive half. Comes in right in time to be able to find that save. This time around, at least when we talk about for the first minute of play, a little bit better feel. What? Excuse me? What happens here? Oh, Ethan just a little bit too far forward. Jakey not quite in a position to be able to find a way back towards the net. That's a big feels bad, bruh. Magic also in a position in the opposite corner where they just couldn't quite get back in time. Unfortunate mistake. And if that was the first goal for L Team, I would say, you know what? Not such a big deal, right? But unfortunately, it is a second goal, which will give this L Team squad a little more confidence moving forward. We're 90 seconds in. Well, we have been able to get the slight advantage in both ball and field control as well. I'm not necessarily saying I expect them to stay that way, because we have seen this Too Manny Man squad do a great job of peppering the net. This time around, it's Jakey with a pass over to Magic. All the defenders on that goal line on that right side. That one's pretty simple. All you got to do is tap it in. Easily done. And, well, just like that, you've been able to keep this lead and cut it in half. Thought we were about to see L Team re-extend right up off the kickoff. Ends up not being the case. Hold on here. Magic past one. Require Heavy Elton to come over with the assistance past the midfield line, but that's about as far as it goes. Neither team truly able to seize complete control of the possession. Maybe here's an opportunity. Ethan, not enough gas in the tank. RCN already up in the sky as well, able to send that towards the corner. And now it's a counterattack, our opportunity. Oh, that's off the post. Heavy Elton shot. Oh, a little too wide. Even too wide for the post, but it felt like that was such a great opportunity to re-extend your lead. Right now, if you're Too Manny Man, you gotta find a way to break this pressure. You need a relief valve, and then you need to find a way to seize the control on the opposite side of the field. You're starting to run out of time. And Ethan gonna be able to score that one, puts it across the goal line. Are you saying that Celia Crocs is already playing Team 20? Urzi? Alright, I'll just pick up a different round 3 game because y'all are plenty ahead and I don't want y'all to wait up. Unless y'all are trying to wait. That's really on you guys. But something tells me we're probably going 5 here. Y'all are a little ahead of the rest of the bracket, though, to be fair. This last minute of play in game number 3. Going to be oh so crucial here. Again, you want to be able to put yourself at that point where you've got 2 chances at that match point. RCN shot going to be shut down. There's pressure forward from L Team. Hold on, it's a pass to the middle. Sound just goes completely forward. I guess went for the big pad, but that will limit the resources for Too Manny Man. But even without those resources, finds a big clear towards the other side. It's Heavy Elton. Tries to transition the field. Did they get caught too far forward? It wouldn't have mattered. Its shot is going to be wide. Hold on. Ball popped back up in the sky. That's dangerous for Too Manny Man. They could have left things open for it to go the other way. Ends up not being the case. And we're off to overtime in game 3. Question becomes who's going to be able to take the lid off the defense and put themselves on a series point. RCN has an opportunity. Can't quite gather it up for a dangerous shot. Easily saved by Jakey. They aren't able to maintain the possession while they try and flip the field. Actually hold that. Magic picks the pocket. He sleeves it forward. Bit of an opening for a transitional play after the demo. Here's an opportunity. Shot is just a tad bit wide. Still saved regardless. Here we go. Sound over one. Second pass is towards the middle. No one's there. Double commit could get punished. Jakey able to pop it up. Pressure still forward for the squad in orange here, however. RCN should be able to find this way back towards the midfield. And it's Heavy Elton. Move it all the way down into the side of Too Manny Man, but they can't keep the possession. They can't hold on to it. "100 seconds gone by here in overtime, and it is definitely too close to call. Ball possession split right down the middle through 7 minutes of play. When it comes to controlling the field, slight advantage to L team here. Which has been a bit different. Bang! L team going to be able to slot it top right. Just over Ethan's head. There we are. Game number 3 goes to L team. They did have more pressure as far as shots on target. Again, they did do the better job as far as being able to win the field game. About 60% of the time spent down that blue half. But definitely really too close to call. I mean, it took to overtime despite the differences in possession, despite the differences in shot opportunities. So let's go off to game number 4. Meanwhile, while they do that, let me pick us up a different round 3 game since that other one started. You feel like if you are Too Manny Man, you've got to find a way to set the tone. That game that they won, they came out guns blazing. And it wasn't just in pressure towards the net, right? It was the opportunities that they gave themselves that were successful. But when you look at that compared to games 1 and 3, when they weren't able to get those early points on the board, when they weren't able to put themselves under the driver's seat, that is when things truly struggled. Do have some best possession here. Magic shot rings off the top post. And now they're going the other way. RCN and Sound both up. Healthy Elton also committing forward. This could be dangerous if you don't win the 50. Luckily, able to keep the pressure down inside this blue half. Now RCN still has the possession. Looking to try and get it past Jakey, but can't. Jakey looking to try and make something happen down on the offensive side. Loses the ball relatively quickly. Neither team truly able to keep a handle. First 90 seconds gone by, however, when we talked about the importance of this series, or of this game, I should say, to this series. Game number 4, it feels like often whoever wins game number 4 walks away with the series, whether it's L team who does indeed end it in game 4 with a win here, or for Too Manny Man, you win, you extend the series, you walk into that game number 5 with some momentum. When you talk about pressure thus far in game 4, they've been doing a pretty decent job on it. I mean, Too Manny Man are leading in that ball possession. They're the only squad with shots for now, as we are closing in on that halfway point. This is going to be a dangerous ball. It's there in front of the net. It's in high in the sky as well, but Magic finds the save. Popped on up. No one really has the gas to feel comfortable rising up for that. It's still going to be kept forward. Magic, touch up off the backboard. Ethan there. Oh, that's off the post. Off of the rebound as Jakey's stuffing it home, though. This was a huge game for Too Manny Man, so for them to be able to put themselves in the lead. With 2:22 to play, you gotta feel good. Second one incoming, bang, indeed it is. Ethan gonna be able to find it off of the kickoff. Almost finding the save is Heavy Elton, but even with a full gas tank, can't quite get over in time. That's gotta be rather frustrating. Let's make it a third. Off of the kickoff as well. Too Manny Man seem to have a lot of success off of these kickoff plays. And for L Team, well, things seem to be falling apart just a little bit. Of course, the good news is whether you lose by 1, you lose by 5, it's still the same result in the score as far as the series. But when you talk about this being kind of the prep stage for that 5th and final game, right now, L Team can't be feeling too good about how they're looking right now. And it's going to be a 4th added in by Jakey here as well. A little slow roller with the bouncer. Right between the two defenders as well. Oh me, oh my. Too Manny Man have been able to up the pressure here in game number 4 and take all the wind out of the sails of this L Team. Of course, there is 85 seconds still left, so you do have some time to at least find some building blocks, and Sound will at least be able to find one. But I do feel like if you're L Team, you cannot be satisfied with just the one. You need a good bounce back here. And while I'm not necessarily saying that I think the comeback is possible with 80 seconds left, although don't count them out, I still think if you want to put yourself in a good space mentally, you need at least one more in this final 80 seconds. Something to say, hey, maybe we weren't great off of the rip and we allowed for this game to get out of hand. But when push came to shove in the back half, we were able to turn things around. But it has been an absolute onslaught on this orange half. 10 shots on target as opposed to the lone 3 from the L Team. If L Team was 100% successful on all of their shots, even still, would be taking an L in this game. And while we are getting ready to set the stage for game number 5, unfortunately for our squad in orange, the L Team, what has been their successful run, or at least their successful games, where they found a bunch of pressure on the blue half while they're able to pepper the net, that offense seems to have gone missing in game 4. See if maybe they can find their find a way to save it. Here heading into game number 5, we're resetting the lobby. Hopefully we'll be using the same code and stuff. Let me open up Start GG just to make sure that they are using anything new. I'm able to get us in there for y'all chat. Winner of this game will be playing our number 1 seed in round number 3. I guess you could sit here and say you've had the longer series, so you're able to stay warm. You've been tested. Still, you got to be able to win game number 5 before you can start thinking about the winner's quarterfinal. It's game number 5. It all comes down to this. I don't know if I necessarily feel like the first goal is an indicative as far as who I feel like wins this series. I don't know if it's easy to say that here in game number 5. But it does feel like it's Too Manny Man who I gotta lean towards just a little bit. In the games they've lost, they have had some decent looks towards the net that maybe just haven't gone their way. And when they have won, they've been able to win by a decent margin. Jakey past the Magic. Ooh, nice little ball movement there. Unfortunately, not going to result in any goals, but those are the type of movement plays, the type of teamwork that would be able to lead this Too Manny Man squad to victory. Of course, remember, thinking back to game number 1, however, we did see the L team be a great example of being efficient in the counterattack game. So don't count them out just quite yet, but they are going to have to come from behind just after we cross that 90-second mark. It will be Too Manny Man who strike first. Magic collecting their own rebound. And would you look at that? I had said it felt like Too Manny Man were the squad that had the momentum. Let's see if they can now hold on. There's still pressure forward here for Too Manny Man, and you know, it doesn't seem like it's much now because there's 3 minutes on the clock. There's plenty of time left in game number 5, but at this point with the lead for Too Manny Man, each possession where you're able to trickle away at the clock, 10 seconds here, 12 seconds there. L team starts to feel more of that pressure. That shot sails off wide. However, it's going to be Heavy Elton off of the rebound. And we'll be able to punch it home. And just before we get to that midway point here in game number 5, we're all tied up. However, it doesn't take long for Too Manny Man to put themselves back in the lead. It's pressure right up off the kickoff. Ethan, a touch to themselves, and then a pass to Jakey, who puts it just far enough over onto that right side where RCN is unable to find the save. Now's where things matter the most. We're past that midway point. This is where champions are made. And Heavy Elton rising on up and finding a way to knot things up with 2 minutes and 16 seconds left to play off of a dime of a pass from RCN. There is still plenty of time on the clock here. Both teams I'm sure wanting to avoid overtime if possible. RCN, dangerous touch. Second touch will at least be able to slow down the approach from Too Manny Man. Kablamo says magic. But unable to capitalize on that extra space is Too Manny Man. It's Sound up in the sky. Oh, looks for the second touch, can't find it. Heavy Elton will at least keep the pressure forward. Both teams at times struggling a little bit in that resource control department, but it does feel like overall Too Manny Man is able to set up down on that orange half. They're doing a better job of being able to control things as far as taking it away from the defense. L team at times has been able to do the same, but I would say not quite with the same consistency. Of course, consistent, or something like that. As we do enter into the final minute of play, because this last 60 seconds is what it's all about. And with the rate of play thus far, could very well be in silver gold territory. Pass back to the middle off a beautiful second touch from Heavy Elton. But RCN not quite able to get there in time. Now trying to flip the pitch, go from one side of the field towards the other. Is Too Manny Man. They will be able to keep their offensive pressure still down on this orange half. This is what Too Manny Man have been great about doing all series long. Even in the games where they've lost, they've done a better job as far as controlling the rate of play, controlling the possession. And while ball possession might be right around 50-50, we have been spending more time down on this orange side. And despite all of that, we are off to overtime in game number 5. One shot is all it takes to send one of these two teams into this winner bracket quarter final. And it does not take long at all. Too Manny Man. We had mentioned that they had had a majority of the pressure throughout the series. 13 seconds off of the kickoff in overtime. And Ethan punches it home for Too Manny Man. What a series. Winners bracket quarterfinals. One of these two teams is one series away from being one series away for a spot in our Spring 2025 for UniRocketeers. I do believe I got these switched around. There we are. That should get us good to... Wait. Yeah, that should get us good to go. University of Warwick. Warwick, right? Warwick. I think someone has said. I want to make sure I get that right. And chat, I just realized we got into this thing so quick. I didn't get to run an ad, so I will have to try and find a way to run one after game number 1, so bear with me. Make sure it doesn't come in towards the middle of gameplay. Early goal from University of Warwick. They do strike first. This is our 1 seed versus our 7 seed. Remember, in these best of 5s, game number 1, not as critical, but have seen more so over the course of our 4 qualifiers, as we are now into our quarterfinal of Qualifier 4, where the team who's able to walk out with a game number 1 win usually has the best chances of advancing forward. We haven't seen too many teams be able to bounce back and win 3 of the next 4. Nice pass down here for Ace. Ace, however, was back around, was already looking to rotate back to defense. Seen a lot of Riley fans in chat. Love to see the support. York Pun Name did take down UoBC in order to get here. University of Warwick did get tested in their last series against the Newcastle Lions squad, who we actually saw at the start of our stream. We look as far as how this game has gone so far. It has been a lot of pressure from the squad in orange. University of Warwick. But that doesn't mean things can't turn around in this final 2 minutes. We had mentioned it in that first series chat. And if you lose game number 1, if you feel like you had a strong second half, maybe that's something you can build upon as you pivot your sort of vision over to game 2. Done a good job of being able to at least limit the opportunities. I mean, they've only found 4 shots over on that University of Warwick side. Only problem, however, is when we do look at York Pun Name, they've only had 1 shot to their name, and they're going to need to find some way, somehow, to get out of their back half as well. I mean, so much time has been spent on this blue half. At some point, you had to figure there was going to be a second one piled on. You have control off of the kickoff. Can you maybe find one here? You figure you score one right around that minute mark left. Still plenty of time to find a second. Sanu is going to be able to at least rise up and slow down this counterattack opportunity. Riley with the kablamo onto Sushi, but not before Sushi could send it down into the blue half. Lady Penelope over 1. Counting down this last 15 seconds here. While we have seen the change of pace, where we have seen adjustments made, you could say, for our York Pun Name squad, who have been able to get a little bit of grip of control, be able to spend some more time down the orange half, they're not going to be able to move the needle when it comes to the scoreboard in game number 1. Matter of fact, they only found themselves 3 shots in that opening game of play as well. It's going to be important for them to try and find some way and somehow to make sure that they don't fall behind by that multiple goal deficit the same way they did there in game number 1, because, well, they were able to at least limit the opportunities from the opposition there in the second half. It's just, unfortunately, they were not able to allot themselves very many opportunities down on the offensive side of the field. Got people in chat saying Riley just warming up. I think the big thing I'm looking for as far as from this rebound game in game number 2 for York Pun Name, I would really like to see when they do get that ball set up down on that University of Warwick side, try and get some ball movement going around. I felt like oftentimes relying on hopeful mistakes coming from the side of University of Warwick. But this team is the number 1 seed going into qualifier number 4 for a reason. Sushi flexing their stuff. 10 seconds, I'm sorry, is all that's necessary in game number 2, and University of Warwick right back in that driver's seat. Did I say number 1 seed? This is the number 2 seed. That's my bad. It's going to be a big response to be able to add a second here from Sushi as well. 2 for 2. Being able to jump into the passing lane as well sees Riley slowly working their way into that offensive half. Anticipate that that's where the pass is going. What a play. Zanihu has all sorts of space moving forward. Looking to continue to keep this ball down on the blue half. At this point, you're not necessarily playing keep away, right? Because you are still obviously trying to add to your tally. If you are University of Warwick. But you most definitely don't feel the pressure to continue to add to your tally. Hold on, Riley. Oh, I thought was going to have an opportunity. Ace shuts that thing down early. Now it's Ace looking to clear the field over Lady Penelope. Oh! But Bimbo, BM able to find the save. Still looking to find a way to seize the control and be able to start setting up an offensive, like true possession down here on the orange half. Is this York pun name? Sushi looking to try and break out the protractor. Would have been a filthy angle. Pass over to Ace. That rings off of the post. Everyone caught forward if he can find a way to clear the field. Unfortunately, not going to be able to. 50 actually won by Ace. Popped up in the sky. Missed by the defender, and Ace is going to be able to punish. University of Warwick now going to be up 3-0. Double Kamlamo by Lady Penelope opens up field. Can Riley get there? Yes, they can. Bringing out the aggression to create space. Ace almost able to get back in off of the respawn. Not quite in time. Of course, when you do look at the fact that it's a 2-goal deficit, 2.5 minutes left, it doesn't even have to be copium, really. I mean, plenty of time for York pun name. It is going to require your defense to hold the line, however. You've got to find a way to get that second relatively quickly. Riley, oh, you needed a big clear there. Instead, it's Sushi still forward with the pressure. Ace drops a pass back, looking for Sushi in the middle of the field. Can't quite find it there. Sushi pass over. Was looking for Zaniu. But instead gets the pinch along the way. And it's 4-1. Now comes time for quite the challenge. The 3-goal comeback. Otherwise, you do run that risk of putting yourself in reverse sweep territory against the number 2 seed going into qualifier number 4. Sushi going to be able to find the save. Lady Penelope finds a touch to at least keep it alive in the offensive half, but only just for a moment. 82 seconds left. Ace wins the 50. Ball towards the middle of the field. Anywho, Looks to gather it there. Can't quite, but does get the assistance from Sushi, who sends it right back into the blue half. Zanny, who tries to press the issue into the blue half. And it's 62 seconds left. Let's just make it a clean, even minute. And unfortunately, for this York pun name squad, you found yourself one. But it's only been one, and it's now 5-1. It takes teamwork to make the dream work, and that's a beautiful passing play right there. I love seeing the Riley believers in chat. I'm here to see Riley cook if they can. Get some hashtag for the contents in chat. They will be able to find themselves at least a second. Ace finds the bump onto Lady Penelope, but not in time, and BM Boo going to be able to punch that one home. It will still be a 3-goal game, so there's really no way of seeing this one coming back. Would have liked to maybe been able to add one more, but I just don't see that being in the cards. So that does mean York pun name is going to have to rely on the reverse sweep against the number 2 seed and qualifier number 4. They're going to have to find some way to slow this offense down. I mean, in game number 2, it was 13 shots. Sorry, 14 shots. As opposed to the 5. Now, the good news is in those 5 shots, they were able to find 2 goals for York pun name. So maybe something that you can look forward to heading into game number 3 if you're able to find a way to bump that shot number up, keep those efficiencies. Maybe you can find a way to make things interesting, but that also means you've got to find a way to hold the line on the other side of the field. See, we've got some believers in chat. Let's see if York pun name can reach into that closet door that's opened up for the University of Warwick. Take that broom out of their hands. Be able to complete the reverse sweep. No early goal on either side of the pitch here in the first 30 seconds. That was a beautiful pass. If Sushi was just a step or two quicker to the middle of the field, that's a goal. Riley required for a save, but it's Zanny who pinch looks for a pass to the middle. Now it's Riley looking to get out of the defensive half over one defender. It's going to be a pass to the middle. BM Boo. It's the 50. Keeps it down this orange half. Lady Penelope fires a shot. That's going to register high. Is York pun name, who is looking to crank that knob up to an 11 here. We had seen them use the demo to try and keep themselves down in that orange half. It unfortunately didn't work for them that last time around. Figure 90 seconds into game number 3 here. You've done a pretty good job of being able to hold the line if you're York pun name, right? We've been seeing a little bit of earlier success in those first 2 games. You've also been able to come out here in game number 3 and seize control of the possession. You've done a decent job of controlling the field as well. Past the middle. Bamboo's there. Oh, but Sushi finds a big save. Keeps things all knotted up at 0. Sushi also with a touch sends it a little bit further up the field, but can't quite find the clear. That one will at least get to the midfield line. A little bit of a mistouch from Lady Penelope, and that will allow for the University of Warwick to be able to flip this pressure, but only temporarily. I do believe this is the first time we've seen both teams go scoreless in a half. Both teams most definitely understanding the importance. This is game number 3. Surely University of Warwick would like to be able to close the door. Give themselves a little bit of time while they wait for the bottom half of the bracket to figure things out. As has been mentioned in the chat, haven't quite been able to find the same bit of control as the University of Warwick been. One thing that the University of Warwick has been doing good, though, has been controlling the boost down here, which has made it tough for York Pun Name to find a way to flip the pressure of the field. And while Bamboo had been able to find the way to get to the corner for the big boost, out of position to find a save there. Now the University of Warwick does have the lead. 90 seconds to play, though. Plenty of time for York Pun Name to still respond. If there's a second goal added here, though, I do have some concerns. And Sushi going to be able to punch this one in the back of the net. Is still doable with 80 seconds left for York Pun Name. Feels like you need one quickly, though. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're relying on a magic kickoff after your first goal. But again, empty trip after empty trip down into that orange half. Has to be frustrating for this York Pun Name squad. I know they've got some supporters in chat who do believe in Riley and the rest of the squad. But unfortunately for them, I do think this is where their upper bracket run comes to an end. They do still have that lower bracket to potentially secure what will be one of the last 2 spots into the main event. But speaking of 2, it will be the number 2 seed heading into qualifier number 4. The University of Warwick, who have been able to come in here, win 3 straight games. Bust out the brooms, and they are now 1 series away from the main event for UniRocketeers Spring 2025. Well, we rushed straight from Series 2 into 3, chat. Unfortunately, the bad news is now we're a little ahead of the curve. So we are going to have a little bit of a break here. We are going to be going up into that upper half of the bracket. Right now, it's UoS Steal Your Crocs, who are waiting for the winner of the Loughborough Lions versus Too Manny Man's. Too Manny Man. That series should be at least through 2, maybe 3. So we could be in for a little longer of a break. Hard to really tell. But on the other side of this break, we will be getting ready to jump in to that winner's bracket semifinals, where we're going to get to watch at least, well, I shouldn't say at least, where we'll get to watch a team punch their ticket into the main event. Grab yourself a little drink, grab yourself a little snacky, a little schnickety snack. On the other side, we got ourselves a qualifying match. All rickety ride. I hope y'all are ready to get down to it. I didn't mean to click over here. I meant to click over there. We're still waiting, I think, for one or two more players to jump up on in here. But it's time to send somebody into the main event. On one side, we've got the number 1 seed going into qualifier number 4. On the other side, it's the underdog story. It's UoS. Steal your Crocs, and we've got to swap the team sides on the scoreboard. I do know that for sure. Let's go ahead and get down to it. Best of 5 action still. Chat, I did that thing again. I realized I forgot as far as on the ads, so I'll put one in after game number 1. But it is UoS Steal Your Crocs who's going to be able to strike first. 18 seconds is all it takes. It's Koi up in the sky. Well, UoS Steal Your Crocs now in the driver's seat. An interesting story for this UoS Steal Your Crocs squad. Upset in round number 1. Technically an upset in round number 2, but it was based off of a DQ in round number 2. And round number 3 was their first matchup where they were the favorites, and they walked away the winners there as well. Meanwhile, when you look on the other side of the pitch for the Lions, I mentioned earlier, walking into qualifier number 4, they are your number 1 seed going in on the day. And they have swept their way here as well. Sometimes, though, it is about getting hot at the right time. Seems like maybe that's the case for UoS Steal Your Crocs. And while we are just 75 seconds into game number 1, they are doing a good job as far as on the ball control, leading a little bit in that department, which is helping lead to a small advantage on the field control as well. Every time the Lions enter into this blue half, they haven't really been able to find much. Honestly, the Steal Your Crocs squad has been doing a pretty good job of being able to limit the opportunity and limit the looks for the Lions. Ball ends up being a pass back towards the middle after a swing and a miss, whether that was intended or not. And now has the possession is UoS Steal Your Crocs. Beeping Sheep, not quite going to be able to win the foot race to that one. Urzi moves the ball forward. Not sure if that was necessarily a shot, but it does send it deep into that orange territory. It's a pass from Koi to Beeping Sheep, and UoS Steal Your Crocs strikes again. They're up by 2. Game number 1 feels like more important to Steal Your Crocs than these Loughborough Lions squad. And I feel like I'm butchering that first name, so I'm just going to continue calling them the Lions. That one's easy. The Lions are technically leading in the shot department, 5-4. They just have yet to be able to find the lace, of course, naturally, right as I talk about it. Caster's curse. Or in this case, I guess you can call it a blessing. Sturblow, a little bit of a bouncer right over the defenders. Loughborough, gotcha. Appreciate you. And just like that, Loughborough Lions, back-to-back goals. And while it might have looked like UoS Steal Your Crocs were going to steal game 1, we're all tied up. 2:22 on the clock. Tied up at 2s on the scoreboard. Can you really ask for much more? Remember, this is a best of 5, so whoever walks away with the L does quickly pivot their focal point over to game number 2, and both teams have shown at times in this match thus far where they have been able to control the pace of the game. I feel like importantly, though, for UoS Steal Your Crocs, we talked about the importance of game number 1. I also feel like if you're going to drop this game, it can't be off of the back of multiple unanswered goals. As they did find that early success. Oh, I thought that was going to be a third goal added on. Beeping Sheep sends it towards the side. Koi, with the assistance, is going to be able to find the clear. Kablamo taking out Turplo. Still pressure forward for the Loughborough Lions. Soup able to take out Koi, actually takes out 2. Urzi, an important 50, pops it in the sky. Both players back in off of the respawn, but only sitting on that 30 gas in the tank that you come back with. Resources a little low in the department for UoS Steal Your Crocs. However, is the Kablamo Whammo combo in the open field, as UoS Steal Your Crocs are going to be able to put themselves back into the lead. .56 seconds left on the clock. Kickoff is going to go in favor of Steal Your Crocs. Ball floating back towards the middle. Still definitely too early to call. You can see the disruption being sent towards the back line. Try and see if they can create space for the teammates here for the Lions to set up some offense in this final 25 seconds. It's Crook looking for a pass towards the middle. There it is! And Yum Soup dumps it home. And with 31 seconds left to go, we're all tied up at 3. Still a similar situation, though, to like we were talking about when we were tied at 2. Feels like of the 2 teams that could probably afford a close but not close enough, you have to look towards the Lions. I've seen enough Rocket League where you've had an underdog lead for a majority of a game just to fall short, and the rest of the series falls apart. However, Urzi gonna be the man of the hour from right around the midfield line. Bang, top bins. And it's 12 seconds left to go. Unless we get some sort of miracle kickoff play in the final closing seconds, UoS Steal Your Crocs have been able to come out here and steal game number 1 against the Loughborough Lions. Wow. Well, it's March Madness time here in the States. I don't know how much of our European fan base watches college basketball as far as for the U.S. I'm sure probably not too many. But March Madness means anybody can win at any time. And right now, UoS Steal Your Crocs seem to have embraced that here for qualifier number 4. Again, on quite the underdog run. Came into today as your number 20 seed. And you're now up 1-0 against your number 1 seed Loughborough Lions. However, the Lions seem to come back with a vengeance here in game number 2. 6 seconds is all it takes for the Lions to put themselves into the driver's seat. We talk about it oh so often, though, over the course of our 4 qualifiers. An early goal does mean plenty of time for the opposition to find that response. However, though, something to keep in mind is that is going to be the first deficit that the Crocs, that Steal Your Crocs, have been in the series. Could that be the little jump start that the Lions needed? Here in our winner's bracket semifinal, Beeping Sheep with a nice 50 off the Koi. Gonna be off the backboard. Urzi has some room, tries to slot it bottom right-hand corner, but read like a book by Crook. And I probably should have ran that ad in between games 1 and 2. That's my bad, chat. I see it farming up to run an ad here in just a moment. Don't blame me, blame Twitch. Sorry. Soup looking for a pass to Crook. Bang! There it is! The Lions seem to roar here in game number 2 as that's now 2-1 answered to start things off. Only 68 seconds gone by as well, which means the Lions still have plenty of time to cook. This is a big opportunity in game number 2 to not just send yourself off to the rubber match in game number 3, but really seize the control of the momentum here of this series. Of course, for either of these teams, you'll walk away from the series with an L. You do still have that lower bracket as a last chance to get into UniRocketeers Spring 2025. But if I'm UoS Steal Your Crocs with the momentum carried over from this underdog run, I don't think I want to go to the lower bracket. And while things may seem to be getting a little out of hand here in game number 2 as the Lions have now found 3 goals in the opening 90 seconds, they still try and have that very good, bad short-term memory. Put that first 100 seconds of game number 2 behind you, and you still have a chance to be able to surmount the comeback. You just can't look at the scoreboard for now. You got to take it play by play. Koi tries to go with a low 50 after carrying it across the field. Is not going to be successful in that attempt. A little bit of friendly fire on the sidewall allows for a flip of the field here for this Loughborough Lions. However, quick opportunity. Koi going for the bump, doesn't find it, but it's a pass off the beeping sheep. And with the first goal being put on target, put on the scoreboard, here with a little less than 3 minutes left to play, you do still have time. But it feels like the most important thing is going to be that the fact that the defense has to hold the line. They did a great job of limiting the looks for this Lions offense in game number 1. You've got to get back into more of that flow state on the defensive side. Open field for Turblo. Looks for the double tap, looks for the angle. Crook not quite going to be able to bang that one home on the opposite side of the pitch. Here's Urzi with the carry, looks for the bump, not going to be able to find it, but Beeping Sheep keeps it alive. Shot opportunity from Koi, and Turblo is required for the save. This could be trouble. Caught forward. Yum Soup just simply needs to tap that thing on in. And just when it looked like maybe Steal Your Crocs was starting to build up some momentum, Loughborough Lions re-extend their lead back to 3. Looking to still try and continue to pile on as well. That shot has a rebound easily fielded by Crook, who rises on up, dunks that thing back home. And after a slow start in game number 1, the Lions prove exactly why they're the king of the jungle. You still have 105 seconds here if you're UoS Steal Your Crocs. I don't think you can realistically expect to come back from this 5-1 deficit. If you can find yourself a goal or two, something to restabilize heading into that rubber match, that's something you would most definitely appreciate. Koi's going to be able to at least find yourself one. And I mean, 90 seconds is still plenty of time. It's really about when this third goal comes across, and if your defense can continue to stand tall. He heading towards the net. Hold on! Not just heading towards the net. Where's the defender's head at? They didn't hear Koi? I don't think Yum Soup heard Koi here, was expecting that to be easy. Should have instead tried to send that towards the middle. And chat, all of a sudden, we've got ourselves a 2-goal game. 72 seconds left. UoS steal your Crocs, looking for the comeback. Well, unfortunate here. I think maybe after the delay and pushing towards mid, you just stay towards the goal, then try and make the play. Unfortunate swing and a miss, all sorts of field left behind, and with the goal or the lead now being re-extended back to 3, it feels like if there wasn't already a nail in the coffin, that should pretty well do it. Do still have time to add on at least one more. Maybe a little technically cosmetic goal, but something to help with the vibes heading into that next game. But instead, it's Crook. Oh my. Gets it just past Koi. And then you watch it from distance as the bar down ski. And it's 7-3. The bounce back game that was needed. Miss Loughborough Lions. Not just a win, but commanding fashion. At least on the scoreboard. Could also say as far as in the ball possession, I mean 55% as opposed to the 45. That's some control. But it's efficiency that really showed through in game number 2 for this Lions squad. And now we pivot and we turn our eyes to game number 3. A game where one of these two teams will indeed put themselves one game away from the main event for the UniRocketeers 2025 Spring main event. Nobody's wanting time to think about game number 2 though. All 6 players readying up right up off the bat. We're already getting back out to the pitch for game number 3, so let's go ahead and get down to it, chat. Run it back. 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get down and do what it do. We talked about the importance of game number 1 for this UoS Steal Your Crocs squad. Feels like we're back in that similar position here for game number 3. I don't know if you can give this Loughborough Lions squad 2 chances at series point, especially off the back of back-to-back wins. First 45 seconds gone by. Only one lone shot so far, and it is towards the Lions side. Crook's going to have some space. We'll send it towards that blue net. Registers high. Hold on, Crook. Second touch. Pass down to Yum Soup, but it's Urzi with the save. No clear coming across as of yet, and unfortunate for them because it's going to be more pressure forward from the Lions as they strike first here in game number 3. Now the Loughborough Lions are the tone setters. Been able to take this lead in game number 3. They were a little slow out of the gates in the series, sure. Once the adjustments were made, it has pretty well been their pitch. And UoS Steal Your Croc just happened to be playing on it. I think the important thing right now is you do have to continue to hold the line if you're UoS Steal Your Crocs. Keep this within a 1-goal game. This momentum can be dangerous, especially when you hand it over to a number 1 seed. A team that has the confidence going in, feeling like they should win. And now all of a sudden, as we close in on that midway point in game number 3, Loughborough Lions be up by 2. Still a whole half to play for our UoS Steal Your Crocs fans. It ain't over yet. We do have to be very fair and honest about how the first half of game number 3 has played out. Ball possession very much in favor of this Loughborough Lions squad. And when you talk about the field control, 70% of the game has been spent down here on this blue side, resulting in now 3 goals. This Loughborough Lions squad looks to put themselves on series point. Find ways to take this ball out of their hands. I mean, they've got 12 shots in the opening 3 minutes and some change. And it's only a little bit of change. Herblow is going to be able to get the control. Not going to be able to keep it, but it will be kept forward into the offensive side by Crook. It's the double tap. That's on your head, boy. And the Lions up by 4. Trying to come out with more aggression as well as the Loughborough Lions. I think at this point, trying to take all the wind out of the sails of this UoS Steal Your Crocs squad. Well, I felt like it was imperative for a win here in Game 3 for this UoS Steal Your Crocs. At minimum, you can't hang a goose egg. If you're going to give yourself any sort of shot to pull off back-to-back dubs against this Lions squad, you've got to show yourself the ability to hit the lace in this final 60 seconds. Pass down into the opposite side. That's off the backboard. Shot's going to be on target here from Crook. Will be saved by Beeping Sheep, but it's right back out into the field of play. Another opportunity here for the Loughborough Lions, as they're able to keep the pressure down in this blue half. Crook, no gas in the tank, still maintaining the possession. Back pass to Turblow. It's off the backboard. Yum Soup fires one on target. And even the highest of Copium, I'm sure the math ain't mathin' with 4 goals, 15 seconds left. But it does indeed look like this Lions squad going to be able to complete the shutout, the clean sheet, here in game number 3, as they put themselves on a series point and they add a 5th for the road. Now if you're UoS Steal Your Crocs, gotta find some way to dig deep and find an answer. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what it is. Because in that last game, 0 shots on target for UoS Steal Your Crocs. Meanwhile, you were getting bombarded. 16 shots over on your half of the field. I'm not even really sure where to begin, chat. possibly prayer. Might be the only thing left in the tank. Of course, you do still have that lower bracket available. But again, when you look at the stats, 0 shots. I just ain't gonna do it. Understandably so. Do see the boys in blue taking the full 60 seconds. That's something that they have not done yet to this point in this series. Is it too little, too late? Let's go ahead and hit back out to the pitch. We're going to reset our clocks back up to 5 minutes. We're going to put zeros on either side of the scoreboard. Ain't no more time to talk about it. If you're UoS Seal your Crocs, it's time to be about it. And they're going to be able to find a first goal just 4 seconds into game number 4. Can't ask for much more when it comes to hot starts. Of course, can't continue to find success off of kickoffs. That's rare to do. Now it's going to be up to your defense to hold the line. And you would like it if your offense might be able to add another 1 or 2 to the scoreline as well. Koi finds a demo that will allow for the space for Steal Your Crocs to regain the possession. Unfortunately, doing a little too much with it. Not able to capitalize on said space, actually turning the ball over, but only very briefly. It's Urzi looking to send a ball towards the middle of the field. Can't quite do it off the pinch there. All being kept down on the orange side, being more of a nuisance than anything. Bumps coming around. Urzi was trying to find a way over that corner pad, hoping it was going to pop up in time. Doing a great job, actually, of limiting the resources of this Loughborough Lions squad, as now UoS Steal Your Crocs is going to be able to go up by 2. It's that easy, folks. Of course, 2 quick goals does still mean there is plenty of time. I don't think this Loughborough Lions squad is going to panic just quite yet. We've seen the ability for them to find the back of the net multiple times in succession. That one's going to be off the post, but it will find its way into the lace. Just barely sneaking its way across, but all you need is a little bit of success. It doesn't matter how it happens. It just matters that it happens. And holy cow, there we are. Once again, it's back-to-back goals as I grab a swig of drink. Again, off the kickoff. Unfortunate swing and a miss from Koi. Leaves the biscuit in front of the basket, and when you make a mistake against some of the best in the business, well, you should expect exactly what we just saw there. And now with a third unanswered goal, again, pressure off of the kickoff. It's Yum Soup, a pass off the backboard. And Beeping Sheep just unfortunately not able to turn around in time. As much as it looked like maybe we were going to be off to game number 5, now all of a sudden you're playing from behind again. Of course, you do still have a little less, or a little more, I should say, than a half to play. Oh, Beeping Sheep's shot does get shut down by Yum Soup. 50 by Koi. Puts it back into the orange half, but only temporarily. Big clear the opposite way. It's going to be Beeping Sheep who looks to gather it. Off of the backboard, past one, but can't keep the handle. With a fourth goal being added on here by Crook. You can't help but feel like that may be the nail in the coffin. And you do still have 2 minutes left. You can still turn things around. But it feels like you got to find that first here soon. You figure 65 seconds. If they want to keep things alive for UoS Steal Your Crocs, I was going to say you've got to find that first goal here soon, but allowing a third with now 77 seconds left on the clock. This could be just about curtains. Chat, because this one got done so quick, I'm trying to see if in the background maybe we can jump on board into that other upper bracket qualifier game because it has not yet started. It looks like they're about to be getting started here soon. See if maybe we can get a little bonus Rocket League action. Because unfortunately for UoS Steal Your Crocs, as much as they had the magic to make their way into this upper bracket semifinal, the magic has seemed to fade. Hold on. Hold on. Don't count them out yet. Oh, chat, y'all are going to hate me because ads are coming in 25 seconds. Imagine UoS Steal Your Crocs scores just before the ad. That'd be hilarious. With that win off the kickoff, though, that should help dwindle the last little bit of time needed. I would almost say that with the post, hitting it off the post there, more preferred. You don't reset back to midfield. Looks like that other game has already started, so we're not going to jump on over there. I don't want to jump on in the middle of the game. But it will be Loughborough, the Lions, able to secure themselves a spot. And what a dominant way to do it here in this final game. As close as things were in the previous games,